So this starseed collective is going through a throat chakra awakening, which I talked about in my last video on TikTok. However, this is another layer. So the message for this week, for you, whenever you get this message, it's timeless and it's meant for you. But the message here for the Lemurian starseeds is you are going through a throat chakra awakening, okay? And I think it was a few weeks ago or last week, the message was about this awakening and speaking your truth and being authentic. This week, this message has been about as you're stepping into your authentic self more, like you're showing up more for the collective to be able to express your truth and share like your voice and your healing energies and light codes with the world. As you're stepping into that authentic version, you're already authentic, but as you're showing up in that way more in the world, Spirit was saying that this is going to trigger people, okay? And so this week, this message is about how you're shifting your path, because so the message that was coming through is this starseed, this Lemurian starseed collective is feeling a shift in direction. So if you like, the example or analogy that Spirit gave me is a person who had went to college for however long amount of time to study a certain major, and they had planned on doing this certain major after they got out of college. And the shift taking place is like, after you get out of college, you thought that you wanted that one thing that you majored in, but then you realize, I don't even want to do this. And you're starting to realize this other path that you feel more called to and aligned to. But the part that you're at now is not only coming to terms and accepting that truth, and like, it's like having a hard time swallowing that truth. Like the message here, or like the energy here, sorry, hold on. So you're feeling fear about moving into the direction of your most aligned self, your inner truth. And you're feeling fear of doing that because one of all that you had worked towards, or what you were working towards, where you thought you were, the direction you thought you were going, and then that taking a sharp turn, or you're like kind of at a crossroads in a way. And Spirit is saying that this is happening to the Lemurian Starseed Collective because of the fact that this throat chakra awakening is occurring. Like they're awakening to their inner truth. So you can be feeling very confused at this time. You could be feeling a lot of different emotions and fears and just confusion. A lot of it is the energy is confusion, really. And you also may be feeling like behind, like almost like if we're going to continue using that analogy about going to college, it's like you spend all this time working towards this thing, and now you realize what you really want is to go in this direction. So there's this energy of feeling like you almost like you have to catch up because you did all this work for this direction, and now you're going in this direction, and now it's almost like this feeling of like, I need to catch up to what is really aligned for me. And Spirit is saying like, all you need to do is ground yourself and become still, because you don't need to rush, because this path that you were on was meant to bring you here anyway, so you're not behind. So that's a very important and specific message. I feel like somebody needed to hear that specifically to help calm their anxiety as well. The other thing that is happening this week for the Lemurians within this throat chakra awakening is being able to receive another's truth without internalizing that. So in the video that I had made, it talked a lot about how Lemurians, they're blue in color and they're all about being the truth speakers. And so this is like a double message. I don't know if I should make a separate message for this, but I'm feeling called to share it now. But with the twin flame collective, those that are Lemurian starseed twin flames, okay, there's a message coming through that about this collective, and I'll just if you don't align with the twin flame collective, you could just skip through a couple of minutes. But this twin flame collective is, the message is coming through is that you both are, well, you're both Lemurian starseeds, so you're all about needing to be honest and speaking your truth, and this is something that was very difficult for you both. And Spirit's also saying that this is your truth. You triggered each other by speaking your truth, and by speaking your truth, it's like, imagine like, because you're a Lemurian starseed, right? So you trigger other people by speaking your truth and by being authentic. Well, your twin flame did that for you, and you did that for them. So that's why you guys constantly triggered each other, because you just constantly just sending each other like light code activations and like helping each other level up and heal and open that wound. And like, it's like a mirror, you know. And that's like a very, I felt called to share that because I was gonna share it in a separate message for the TikTok collective, but I'm feeling called to share it here because I'm only gonna make one video on YouTube itself. But anyways, I digress. Or actually, no, I don't, because that message was meant to be shared. So, oh yeah, and back to the twin flame thing real quick. Right now, if you and your twin are in contact, or even if you're not in contact, there's a message here about being able to receive your twin's truth, or something that has come out into the light about your twin, and being able to, like, you're experiencing, being able to like receive it without feeling like without internalizing it. And that's really hard because of how connected you both are and the fears that came up in the past. But anyway, so the message here for the twin flames is that this is meant to be another healing cycle within speaking one's truth to each other. I hope that makes sense, but for those of you it's meant for, you'll understand. So back to the Lemurian starseed overall collective. Spirit is saying that so basically a lot of what's happening right now is based in communication. This is not only romantically, but this is like with friends, this is with just people in your community, maybe even children, parents. There's a big emphasis here on communication and speaking your truth, but also being able to receive another's truth, and a big message about aligning with your truth in regards to career, in regards to love and family life, etc. And Spirit is saying that it's okay if you feel confused, because you're literally shifting you're literally like changing timelines. Like, you're going from an inauthentic timeline, not that it wasn't meant to happen, but you're awakening to a deeper level of truth. And so you're really just aligning more and more with where your soul really wants you, and where you have we're always meant to be, and that is with people, places, and things. So even like career, even like where you live, you know, you're as you continue to align more and more and not only speak your truth but be in your truth, you're going to be moving like to places where you're meant to move, and being around people that you're meant to be around that are aligned with you. Okay, so the next message here, I wrote everything down because it's a lot. But the message from Spirit is to continue to be brave. So when you're speaking your truth, it's not easy to, you know, be authentic. It's not easy to, you know, speak your truth. It's very difficult. But Spirit is saying that you just continue being brave, and you are not only helping yourself when you are brave and you share your truth, but you're helping other people as well. Because when you share your truth, you're helping other people feel safe to do the same. And that's important, because that's really the point of the Lemurian, not the point of the Lemurian starseeds, but that's what we help do. We help bring not only truth and light codes to the collective, but we help awaken others to their truth. And in order to do that, we have to speak our truth, right? So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, what was the other message? Ground yourself. So like, because like this anxiety that's coming up in the collective, because the fact that, you know, this collective is facing a lot of fears in regards to like, not only like just fears of like, oh, what's going to happen when I, you know, express my truth, or what's going to happen if I change course and I change paths and I do align with what I really want. Like, there's a lot of fears and like what's going to happen when we shift into what we really want and what we really feel called to do. Okay, so Spirit is saying just ground yourself through that, and continue tapping into your heart space and living in your truth. And then I think I went over this already, but Spirit saying that there's fears coming up about switching paths, because the one you really want and that aligns with you scares the crap out of you. Go towards, this is the message, go towards the fear and not the comfort. Just because some things feel safe doesn't mean that they're aligned with your truth. So when you are like, let's say that you feel called to like go in a certain direction, but there's a lot of fears that come up, or there's a lot of like questioning and like doubts of like, oh well, should I? And then you start thinking of all like the worst case scenarios. And but like when you think about having that thing or being in that place or spending time with that person or whatever the case may be, or moving into that place or whatever, how do you feel? Like when you envision it, how do you feel? And that is a really key way for you to be able to like Spirit said, tap into your heart space. Because when you tap into your heart space, yeah, like the fears are going to arise, because that's what's keeping you. You have to realize like the fears is what's keeping you where you're at right now. Okay, and like it's not, the fears are an illusion. Okay, and remember that, you know, maybe you want to stay in this particular like path that you have been on because it does feel safer to you, because going to something that you truly want, you know, there's a risk to it, but it's important to know that just because you feel like you're risking your you know, being hurt, like if it comes to love, you know, like yeah, you may risk being hurt, but at least at the end of the day, you know that you were true to your heart. And honestly, that's extremely important for the Lemurian starseeds, is just to feel like, hey, at the end of the day, like I was true to myself, so I'm happy, you know, like even if it doesn't work out or whatever the case may be, at least I did it and I found out what my truth was. And that's the thing with Lemurians as well, like we have to go through a certain experience in order to really understand what our truth is, because we have to feel into it. And sometimes we're confused, like sometimes we think we're going in a direction that feels like our truth, but then once we get there, it's like, oh, that's not actually what I really want. And it's just helping you to get closer to what you want. So if you need to experiment, like go ahead, by all means do that. By experimenting, you are going to get closer to that inner truth, and that is what is important, especially this Lemurian starseed collective. Aligning with your truth is where your abundance is. It's where your happiness is. It's where you feel the most joy, you feel the most fulfillment, even especially when it's scary, especially when there's fear involved. Work through the fear, feel the fear, and do it anyways. Okay, a lot of the Lemurian starseeds are meant to, you know, be seen by a big audience as well, and that is because of the fact that they have healing light codes that are meant to trigger others and help healing. Okay, so you have to remember that your purpose here on earth is very divine. Okay, your purpose here on earth is to help awaken others to what their truth is, okay? And not everybody can do that. Like, you have to understand your power, okay? So yeah, that was a lot. This week has been literal chaos with these messages because it's just like a whole bunch of different information, and like, as you can probably tell with this message, it's like this energy, like it feels like not necessarily anxious, but there's just so much to say. Like, there's so much truth, and there's so much like heart-centered energy with this collective, and like it's like this feeling of like feeling so pushed to like live in your authentic truth, and like, and go to those places that feel aligned with you, and be around those people that feel aligned with you. It's like this energy of just like you're like coming home, like finally coming home, you know? And so just keep following that. Just because you feel fear doesn't mean that it's unsafe, you know? And trust yourself, and trust yourself that, you know, when you're going towards a fear, trust yourself to be able to, whatever happens, you're going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever happens, you got you, and that's all that really matters. You got you, spirit's got you. You have a ton of protectors. Like, you're not going in this like alone, okay? You're not going after what you really want alone. And if it's not meant for you, you'll be redirected. You know how spirit works already. Your rejection is God's protection. So you're just getting, every step you take, it's not wrong. You can't, there's no way that you can make a wrong step, because you're gonna be redirected and aligned, and spirit's got you. Like, you have a divine mission. So like, those that have a divine mission, they're not just like left hanging, like left like try and figure this out on their own. Like, basically, don't just not make a decision though. Like, be honest with yourself and be like, okay, if you're not sure what direction you want to go in, but you know like something's not aligning with you in the direction that you have been going, or you're currently in, just take note of that. And if you're still not sure, you should experiment with different things, okay? I hope that makes sense. I feel like to the people that watch this and, you know, understand, like, it will make sense. So yeah, that is your message for today, Lemurian starseed. Please follow, or I guess on here it's subscribe, and like and share, please, just to help this content reach who it's meant for, because I barely started this page, so you know how YouTube works. But anyways, yeah, thanks for being here, and I'm proud of you. Keep going, and don't give up on yourself and what's important to you.